Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's live show. This is Matic TV. It seems like ages since we've done a call-in show. It seems ages since we've done anything live. We've been that busy. Obviously, guys, before we start the show, I just wanted to make a big shout out or give a big shout out to all you guys for backing the channel and backing me. As you all know, I am back working now with the United Stand, absolutely loving it, and I've just been absolutely mad busy. You can imagine everything going on transfer related, deadline day and everything like that. It has been absolutely mental, but being back at the grounds has been, I tell you what, it's been an absolute saviour for me. It's been absolutely brilliant just being back and communicating and seeing people again. And just being in and amongst it even. I've not watched anything on TV for so long, and it's great. It feels like normality is well and truly back. Kids are going back to school tomorrow, and that's even better. I mean, yes, please. Party poppers going right now, I'm telling you. Not that I don't want, I'm not saying that I don't like my kids or anything. Love my kids. But everyone, with that little bit, oh, you know what I mean. If you've got kids, you know what I mean. Let's not get into it. Let's get into United. That's what we're going to do. I have a joint host for a little bit tonight. My man Owen is in the house. Let's bring Owen into the room with myself now just to see how he's feeling. Owen, after that transfer window, mate, and everything that's gone down, you've got to be one happy Irishman, mate.
I am happy. I'm just about to. I'm in an hour's time. I'm going to watch my national team get absolutely pummeled by two of our best players. That's the plan, anyway. But yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing with that window, man. And you know, everyone's talking about the free signings. We've forgotten the most important one as well. Tom Heaton. He was there also. But we have had an amazing window, and I cannot wait for the September the 11th. Old Trafford is going to be bouncing. It is going to be one of the, I thought Leeds was an amazing atmosphere, but my God Almighty, that Newcastle game is going to be something else. The ground is just going to be hopping from minute 1 to 90, scarves flying everywhere, Viva Ronaldo non-stop. I cannot wait for it, man. I cannot wait.
That's it, mate. Believe me, guys, being to the last... Owen is dead right. The atmosphere at Leeds was absolutely off the scale. But the atmosphere in the away end in the last two games has completely been... it is absolutely mental right now. The feel-good factor is back within the fan base. We can definitely say that. But it's not all about that tonight, guys. We've got a few people waiting to come on, some for the first time. Some regular subscribers and watchers are coming on to join me and Owen before Owen has to shoot off. I don't know if you can stay on the whole show. And you've got to shoot off at one point, haven't you, mate?
Yeah. Well, basically, I've got a mate coming over so we can watch Ireland get drubbed by Portugal. But yeah, that's about it.
Oh, well, I can't fault you for that. Can't fault you for that at all. But yeah. Some people may look at the transfer window a different way. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get a few opinions, a few people on tonight just to see what they think. Joining us first, I'm going to bring on my first guest actually tonight. Reese, I'm going to bring on you first, mate. He has, well, he's got a decent setup. I look at that there. Reese, look at that. Sporting United training kit. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How about you?
Oh, we're good, mate. I think everyone's good at the moment, mate. It's a silly question, isn't it? We just have to ask it for video reasons, mate, just to make it look half professional. But I got to get into it straight away, mate. I mean, Owen touched on it there. The atmosphere, the feel-good factor is around at the moment. Just tell me how you feel the transfer window in general has gone, and then would you have classed it as a good transfer window if we didn't sign Ronaldo towards the last few days of it, Reese?
See, that's the hard part, because definitely I think pretty much the whole United fan base can agree we need a CDM. You watch Fred, like the last two games especially, he's horrendous. He's atrocious. Like he turned 1-2 for the billboard. Like he's awful. Last year I was a bit of a Fred fan. Like, I enjoyed it. He was doing well. He was in a pretty good bit of form, and then he just drops off. I don't know what happened, but he's definitely not a CDM. Like, let's be honest, he's not. And
I don't know what he is, mate. I don't know what he is.
No, honestly, yeah, no. But I think the only proper CDM we have at United is Matic. But is he going to play? No, he's finished. Let's be honest. He hasn't got legs no more. But but if we talk about Ronaldo, obviously, for me, the best player in the world. I see Paul Merson speaking like, oh, has he got the legs anymore? Like, yeah, he's 36, but when you watch Ronaldo, do you ever think like, he's so good, you don't really question his age. Because look, he outscored Lukaku in less appearances last year in Serie A.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Can you really question that? Like, I think he is going to come in, he's going to score goals, but it's just like, he's definitely something different. I do think we needed him, to be honest. I did think we need a striker. And like Gary Neville's been banging on about with Harry Kane, but obviously we were never going to get him. But
yeah,
I think Ronaldo, I think he's a great signing, but definitely wouldn't have been. It's a surprise, you know what I mean? Like, we're only in for him because City were, in my opinion. I think, if City weren't in for him,
we were pushed, weren't we? It felt like we were pushed, wasn't it? On that,
Owen,
I was just going to get that.
That was
I was just going to get Owen's opinion on on
That's
that.
All it was.
Reese just touched on there, actually, mate. I mean, pundits, mate. Jealous pundits, Owen.
Mate,
Merson's done it.
Don't pay attention to Paul Merson. Paul Merson can't even pronounce half the players in the Premier League's names. I think his opinion is fairly. It's been wrong more times than most pundits on Sky Sports or on BT. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, Ronaldo it's Ronaldo. I mean, I feel like the links with City. Look, we're all romantics, so we want to believe in our mind that there was ever no chance of him going to City. And I'm inclined to believe that maybe that was just a thing to get United involved, and that's how you got United involved, because you flirt with City a little bit. It's just like it's like the old tactic: flirt with someone else, make the girl you like jealous, then you swoop in. That's basically what Ronaldo has done in football terms, and it seems to have worked. And I'm happy because I'm going to see the man that I grew up watching at United, back at United now in my 20s to lift the Champions League trophy this year. And while I get Viva Ronaldo tattooed across my chest.
Yeah. I mean, Reese, can you remember back when Ronaldo was at United? Are you old enough even?
Really. I was too young for it, but obviously we all know what Ronaldo is like. Do you know what I mean? It's Ronaldo. As much as I didn't see him at United, I've seen him at his prime at Real Madrid, and even at Juventus. Like, I know he didn't win the Champions League and stuff like that, but he was. Do you expect Ronaldo to do that in that team? Like, let's be honest. Look at Juventus' team compared to United's current squad. United's better. Like, that's why I think he's going to come in. And he is going to do a job in the Premier League. I know he's 36, but I think he's at least got 2 more years left in the tank at the top level. I do,
mate. I think you know what he could have even more, because the way he plays, the way he looks after himself, and the way he uses his energy on the pitch, you can tell he's a man who is in tune with his body. He knows exactly what he can and can't do, and he won't go above and beyond it. He is precise with what he does on the pitch, and he makes it count. You said yourself, he played less games than Lukaku, scored more goals, and everyone's raving about Lukaku being the next thing to sort Chelsea. I mean, United, we know what United do. When United don't make as many chances, fair enough, we understand that. But one thing Ronaldo is clinical. And them chances that do come around, Ronaldo, more often than not, he's going to take them. I mean, Owen, mate, even crosses into the box, mate. We've got a guy who can head a ball now. We've got 2 of them.
We've got a bloke that can jump about 75 foot in the air. I mean, we remember that goal again when Welbeck scored at the Bernabeu, which was one of the most. It's a sentence that shouldn't make sense, and he leapt up like a salmon out of water and I think he was about 13 foot in the air or something like that. For a couple of his headers, he can seriously jump for the ball. And like what you made the point there about the way he looks after himself. I'd say if he did one of those health tests, he'd have the body of a 25-year-old, 26-year-old easily. Like, he takes care of himself. We all remember that Patrice Evra when he talked about when he went round to lunch for lunch to his house. He just still kept training, still went swimming, wanted to play 2-touch outside. All he ate was, basically chicken and leaves. Like, he was just a clean diet, no tattoos, like, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. He looks after his body is like a temple to him. So I reckon 2 or 3, I'd say 3 years probably. There's an option for a further year in that contract. So I reckon he could easily do 3 years at Old Trafford and bring back the glory days.
Owen just described his exact opposite in all of that right there.
I'm actually starting to get a bit healthy now, so don't.
Well, that's it, mate. Kit, looking lean for Christmas, Owen. Yeah, that's the one, mate, and all that.
Exactly,
Reese,
out my Christmas jumper.
I'm going to ask everyone, Reese, when they come on, but before you go, mate, with that window now, expectation level, obviously, it must have gone up in a lot of United fans' eyes. Yourself, where do you see United's season going, and what are your expectations now? What's a good season for you, Reese, now?
Well, I think it's like we have to win something. We have to. I like 100%, and we've got to be competing for the Premier League, and even in the Champions League, I think we've got to be up there. Like, if you look at the team, you can't say that Ollie hasn't got his team or he hasn't got the tools to do it. He has, and like I'm Ollie in personally, and I want him to succeed because he's a club legend, and like I think he has shown that he has it. And like I think on the United stand the other day, Goldbridge was saying about like he has this stubbornness, especially of like Van der Beek and bringing off the players and stuff. It's like he has got to change certain things about him for us to succeed. But if he don't this season, I do think he's got to go. But I fully expect us to be in contention to win the big boys, really, and be up there, definitely. If we're not, then...
Yeah. Don't be afraid to say it, mate. Don't be afraid to say it. We should be competing for that title. I'm telling you, Owen said it. I've said it. We're convincing people on this show.
21 is coming, mate. Just stamp that in your head, Reese. 21 is coming.
That's it. That's it.
21's coming.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
In Dean's Gate, holding a trophy.
When Owen's leg kicks out, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Reese, cheers for coming on, mate. Really appreciate your time, mate. Thanks for joining us tonight, pal.
Thank you. Cheers.
Take it easy, mate. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, I mean, I've not spoken to you for a while, actually, Owen, on it. I mean, expectation levels have gone up to another level. I mean, I expected United to be challenging before Ronaldo came in, mate. So everyone knows where I stand. Where are you at, mate? Are you still confident? Are you still thinking that this is what we should be talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but I also think, I mean, I've seen a point today on Twitter, and it kind of makes sense to me. I feel like we might potentially be more suited to a Champions League run. I feel like that's a major possibility, because I feel like we do have a tendency to slip up in the Premier League, and I don't know. I feel like missing that holding midfielder could be crucial to getting 21. As giddy as I am about 21 coming home and all that, I feel like a Champions League run is possible for us. And I really can see us. We have to win one of the big two. I mean, I think that's just a given now. We have to win either a Champions League or a Premier League this season. I think anything less is a failure in my mind, to be honest. After the window we've just had, I know players might not gel quickly, and we are missing certain links, but the club have made it clear that their priority was a centre half and a right winger. We've got those two, and Ronaldo was a bonus. And apparently, in the next window is where they're going to look for a striker and a midfielder. So, if the club think that was good enough to go forward, then that is, what should be capable of us competing for a title, as well as going into the semi-finals and final of the Champions League. That should be in the club's mind if that's what they believe we needed to compete.
That's it. Guys, in the comments, don't forget to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button while you're in the room. They're all free. And don't forget, get your comments in. Join the chat. We'll pop up as many messages as possible as we're bringing everyone in. Next, I'm going to bring in, hopefully I say the name right. Is it Akevin? Is that right? I think I've said that right there, mate.
That is correct. Yes, it is.
I'm getting better at this. Names are getting better. How are you, mate? Where are you calling from, pal?
I'm from Thailand. And you guys are from England.
Thailand.
Oh, yes. Thailand.
You're Mr. Worldwide right here, Adam Matic, right? Jesus.
That's it, mate. We have United fan base all over the globe. And what time is it there, mate? Sorry, I need to ask that question.
It's around midnight 45 now. Around midnight 45.
That's United dedication right there. So, mate, I'm going to ask everyone, obviously, the most obvious questions, Akevin, mate. Ronaldo, excitement levels through the roof, mate. Do you see him influencing this team enough to make us challenging for all the big trophies, like Reese was touching on there. We have to win some this season. Do you see us really going for, like Owen said, then possibly a Champions League with Ronaldo in the team now?
I see a Premier League challenge because honestly, Ronaldo makes us contenders, automatic contenders. Now that you bring in Ronaldo, there's no excuse anymore. Ole has to go for the Premier League. We have a squad. He has been given the budget. He's been given the time. This is the season where we have to challenge for the league. We may not necessarily have to win the league. Like we've been challenging for a while. Like last year we had a tough end to the season, which for me I felt it was a bit of a failure because of the Europa League incident. And to the start of the season, we should have easily got 9 points, but at least we're not too far off from the top right now. I still think we need a CDM. We're lacking that creative defensive midfielder. We've been missing someone like Ruben Neves, US Basuma, someone like Declan Rice, something like that. And for me, I feel that's been United's biggest problem. We've always lacked that defensive ability in midfield. We've never had that. Pogba has had to play in the wrong position for a long time now. He's been playing at CDM. He's been playing in the wrong areas, and I feel that for me, if you put him on the left, where we've just seen him the past 2 games, he's got 5 assists now in the Premier League season, which I think is the most, if I'm not mistaken. So Pogba for me has to go onto the left, and either you put Matic or Donny in the middle for now because we've not signed a CDM, which I think I have to give this window 8 out of 10. And only 8 is because we didn't sign a CDM. Rafael Varane for me is a quality signing. I feel that I'm so happy with Rafael Varane. He can, it gives a massive boost in our defensive abilities because we've struggled with Lindelof last season. You've seen with Maguire and Lindelof, the partnership has been inconsistent at times. You've seen Lindelof get out jumped in the air. He doesn't have that presence, the strength. So I feel that bringing someone like Rafael Varane, who for me was one of our best players on the weekend, clearly just changes everything. Also, bringing in Jadon Sancho, I feel that last game he was missing, but it'll take time because he still needs to get used to the system. And for me, we shouldn't go too hard on him.
Mate. I totally agree with what you're saying there, mate. You touched on something there that I want to actually ask you. I mean, Jadon Sancho will adjust to the system, you said there. Now, I had an issue with it, and I don't know if anyone's seen my match day vlog on Sunday for the Wolves game. Jadon Sancho starts fantastic, but Owen said it, and I can't remember who else said it. We knew what we needed in terms of players and players' positions this summer. We went out and got 2 of them: the right side of the attack, central defence. I know you can't get everything in one window, but we got 2. Yeah. And then he goes and plays Jadon Sancho on the left. Do you trust in Ole to actually utilise what he's actually buying? Because we touched on Donny before, and that topic will come up again. He's got Donny sat on the bench, a player he bought. He plays Jadon Sancho on the left instead of the right, a player he bought. Do you trust in Ole to be able to use the team that he's got? And let's be honest, he has been backed now, mate. And
he has been.
There's no excuse. Everyone keeps saying it. Do you feel like Ole would have learned enough from last season, or the early signs of this season are a little bit of a concern for you, especially the last 2 away games and the way we struggled?
Sometimes, you need luck on your side. Like you've seen Liverpool a couple of years ago when they won the Premier League. They didn't play the best football at times, but they managed to grind out games. They managed to get 3 points. 3 points that always matters at the end of the day. For me, I'm happy with 3 points, but the performances have to be better. It has to be more convincing, because then we'll get rolled over by teams like Chelsea, because they've strengthened as well. And you see with Chelsea with Lukaku, they're gonna be up there. Spurs, I know people say Spurs might not be a threat, but the signings that they've made, the start that they've had, they look good. And I think we have to really up our performances, both defensively and going forward. We can't concede stupid goals. We almost conceded that day against Wolves, which was very, very
a few times, mate. Lucky. Nearly conceded a few times.
Pull off a very double save, which for me, I thought, that for me won my man of the match. David De Gea, I don't think no debate, was my man of the match that day. Ole, his position, playing players in positions. You've seen play Pogba out of position, like I mentioned a bit ago. He's not playing players correctly to their strength. I think Jadon Sancho should be a right winger. If not, then Mason Greenwood should come in for him because he's been our best player to start the season so far. Because he scored in all of our games. But to have the consistency, you need to be played correctly.
Yeah.
And if you're not played correctly, you can't be consistent. For me, Bruno Fernandes, he has his off games, but for me, I don't think he put much of a foot wrong. He lacked that player so Fred behind him. He had to help with a lot of the mistakes.
Yeah.
And for me,
I understand that.
Fred should not be in the starting 11. I don't know what Ole is thinking. I don't know why. I don't know what he sees in Fred. Fred makes a couple mistakes and gets into 11, but Donny van de Beek doesn't make a single mistake and gets put on the bench. I don't get it.
Yeah,
that's
it.
thing.
This is it. I mean, Owen, mate, I'll come to you on some of the points made there, and it is that age-old question again, mate. Ole is fantastic man manager. It's quite clear the players absolutely love him.
Yeah.
And to handle this many players in a squad, you have to give him credit. But does he need that bit of help? Does he need that coach like Ferguson brought in all the time, mate? Because I'm looking at Jadon Sancho sacrificed out on the left because he wanted to bring Dan James in. That scared me more than anything at weekend, mate. And believe me, in that United end, that was the topic, mate. That was the top topic, and that's what everyone was talking about, Owen.
I'm absolutely delighted that Dan James has gone to Leeds. Can I just make that point? £25 million. £25 million. That Italian bloke must have had some serious amount of vino the night before he signed that fucking deal off. Because Jesus Christ, £25 million for Dan James is an absolute joke. But that's more fault Leeds. But in terms of Ollie, I think that the coach that we brought in is the sort of he's coming as a set pieces coach, the Chelsea 23s coach.
On that, I've seen him working there on the side. The first time, obviously, we've seen a few games, but when you look close and you can see him, he has got a good pedigree in terms of what everyone says, but you can see what he's doing. You can see the intensity in him. So time will tell with that one, away, mate, as well.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think we need to give that one time to bed in. I think maybe you can look at that maybe in November, December time, and then judge on that and see where we've improved in our set pieces and whether we've improved defensively on them and offensively. And then going forward, the likes of McKenna, Carrick, I think that they're good, but are they going to bring us to that Premier League title or that Champions League title? I'm not too sure of it. Kieran McKenna is a good coach. I have no doubts about that. Michael Carrick, unbelievable legend of the club. So obviously great to look at within the squad, but do they have the coaching now? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think maybe bringing in another head. I'm not saying get rid of, give Carrick and McKenna the shot, but an experienced head coach who's experienced at the top level. I mean, a name isn't coming to mind at the moment, but I'm sure the club has a long list, prepared. I mean, when we were trying to sign Wan-Bissaka, we had a list of 100 right backs. I'm sure there's a list of over 100 coaches around the world that are more than capable of coming in and improving our system as a team. So I think we've got to make an appointment, but I don't think you'll see it till if we do make an appointment, it won't be for a while.
Yeah, I mean, Akabin, mate, I asked everyone the same question. You said it was an 8 out of 10 transfer window, pal. Expectation levels for the season going off that now. You said it, we're tucked in there. We've not lost too much ground. And now we start with this full squad. It's 2 games a week. European football kicks in. That's not just for us. Teams that are chasing us like Leicester and West Ham, they've got to deal with European football as well now. West Ham for the first time. And I think we played them after their first European game, then played them again the week after. So we're going to see West Ham's mettle with all the fixtures. But it is the serious matter now of 2 games a week, mate. And the real time of the season kicks in. What are your expectations now? Is it simply has to win summit, challenge for the title properly?
So for me now, we have the depth. I think we've improved a lot in our depth. Like compared to last season, I look at our bench and say, hey, it's one of the best in the league, for sure. It has to be one of the best in the league. We've got players that can come off the bench and change the game. So we have Lingard coming off the bench, considering he didn't go to West Ham. We didn't let him go. We got Marcus Rashford still to come back. Edinson Cavani still to come off the bench. So you see the quality there, and you're like, okay, you're thinking maybe we can rotate in games. We can finally rest players. So we have to go for the domestic cups this season, as well as we have to try and get far in the Champions League. This group that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has this season is inexcusable if he doesn't get out of it, because this is for me the easiest group that we've had since David Moyes. Do you remember we had David Moyes? We had Shakhtar Donetsk, we had Real Sociedad, we had Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Through that group, we made it to the quarterfinals and played against Bayern Munich, but unfortunately crashed out. But for me, you have to challenge for the league as well, get far in the Champions League, and maybe win the domestic cups as well, because we don't win a trophy this season. It's inexcusable, the amount of money that Ole spent, considering it's the second most in the league behind Arsenal. We have to.
That's crazy itself there on its own, man.
That is fucking brilliant. That is how the mighty have fallen.
Mighty. I don't know when the last time.
Well, the way they fucking go on Twitter, Adam, you would think they were mighty, wouldn't you?
You just ignore them clowns now.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Like Carlos Queiroz, we need to bring him back, because
I agree with that. It's a good show.
We don't bring him back. Like, remember we had Ronaldo 2007, and he was there. So yeah, I think bringing Carlos Queiroz back could really help the team. I don't think McKenna's a ready-made coach. Like Michael Carrick, I think he should go out to like a smaller club for now and come back with more experience later. Because I don't think they're ready for a big club as of yet. So we need to bring back like Rene and bring back Carlos Queiroz. Coaches like that who are experienced.
Don't go back to your exes, man.
Top level.
Yeah, hey Kevin, mate. Thanks very much for coming on, pal. Really appreciate you staying up this late over there in Thailand, mate. That's massive dedication, mate. Thanks for coming on, pal. Absolute pleasure, buddy. Speak to you soon, mate. Thank you.
Legend. That is legendary. You stayed up till 1:45 to come on. That is. You've got some dedicated fans, lad. You can do a world tour, mate.
It's the love for United, mate. It's not me. It's everyone wants to talk about United. That's it. We give them a platform to say their piece. And you know what? He made a lot of good points there, Kevin, there, like Reese did as well. There is a good vibe about it at the moment. There is. I do feel like he has to sort of tweak that formation a little bit now, though. I feel like he has to sort of change it up.
How would you
not just to adapt?
In what way, though?
I mean, I'm dropping it just to a single holding midfielder. Honestly, I do think we've got the likes of Bruno, the likes of, you could even put a McTominay ahead of a holding midfielder. You could put Donny van der Beek. There's so many options there, mate. I just feel like it's adaptable because the squad is so big. And that formation can change in game.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be as rigid as it always looks. And how we were so overrun in the midfield against Wolves, the ill discipline, mate, from the players, I thought, more than anything. I wouldn't say it was all his tactics as such in terms of how he was overrunning midfield, but the ill discipline. But then again, Ollie does pick Fred. And Fred has consistently let us down.
I feel like McTominay could possibly mould into that for us for this season. I'm saying it more out of hope, I think, than
well, mate, it's not hope. It's all we've got, mate. So we have to look at it realistically. Yeah. This is the squad we've got now. So someone has to do that job. Someone has to be in that holding midfield role.
Yeah, and also looking at it, like if there is an injury to Bruno or Pogba, like Donny will get an opportunity. And Pogba seems to get injured every season. So like for a decent period, at least probably 6 to 8 weeks. So, there should be a period where Donny gets to play into the team, and hopefully he can sort of play his way in and, get a few more games. And I think the amount of games that we're going to be having as well this year, I think he will get his opportunities here and there, especially in the group games of the Champions League. Young boys, Villarreal, they're going to be his opportunities, I think.
I think I agree. Right, it's time to get our next guest on. Are you still okay there for a bit, Owen?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's laughing. I'm going to bring Orist on next. I'm sure that's how you say your name. It's another testing one for me. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
I see. I'm good. All right, we'll start with the same question. Where are you calling from, mate?
I'm calling from North London.
North London. Oh, it's near Owen.
All right.
He's coming out. You can go around and watch the Ireland game with him if you want, mate. He's got all the beers set up there, pal. He's going to watch Bruno and Ronaldo destroy his national team, mate.
No, mate. I'm going to watch Shane Duffy masterclass. Shane Duffy, 88th
Don't listen
minute.
to what Keane's saying.
If Shane Duffy scores an 88th minute winner, I will be topless somewhere in North London.
No, and no one wants to see that. All right, mate. How are you doing, pal? I'll get onto it first, mate. Same. It's the top of every topic for everyone at the moment. Transfer window is done and dusted now, mate. The squad is set. Are you happy with what we've got?
Yeah, I'm happy with the signings of Varane, Sancho, Ronaldo, but I'm also not happy that we didn't get a CDM because for me, Fred has been so poor the last 2 games. Like, I don't even know what his position is. Yeah,
it's it, mate. That's the problem with Fred. When he plays that bad, sometimes you're thinking, not only why is Ollie picking him, but where is he supposed to play? What's his best position? Because for me, I don't know if he was more of a forward-thinking player at Shakhtar before he came in, and now we're looking at it going, Ollie's trying to mould him into a player, and I think Ollie's giving him more chance than anyone else in this squad. I don't know what you think about that, Horace, mate. He seems to be getting chance after chance after chance. Do you think Ollie's just waiting for that hallelujah moment where it suddenly clicks with Fred? Because I think he will end up costing us more he plays, in my opinion. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I think he has to take his risks now because if Fred continues to play bad now, he has to take him off. And we should see Van der Beek getting more game time. But yeah, it doesn't look like as of right now that Van der Beek will get game time.
That's it, yeah. Keane said there, Owen, mate, Fred was an 8 out of 10 before he came to United. Do you think the Mourinho leaving him out and not, or did Mourinho see the whole story that we're seeing now? Is that why he didn't play him?
Was Fred an 8 out of 10 before he came to United? Because he's playing in the Ukrainian league, so you can't really get a judgment off of that. I know he was in the Brazil national team, which is, an achievement in itself, but you can never really trust players coming from the Ukrainian league. I mean, you see like the likes of Alex Teixeira was talked about as being this, the next best thing. Left Shakhtar, ended up in China. Now he's at Besiktas. He's not had much of a career. Like players coming from, obviously you've had Fernandinho and a couple of others, but they're like gold dust coming out of the Ukrainian league and being very, very good. So I think he's a decent player and always has been, but I just don't think he's United quality. I think he's, I don't think he's a Champions League player. I think he's a Europa League player. That's what I'd say. I don't think he's a bad footballer. I just don't think he's one. Don't think we're utilising him in the right way as well. Like he's just not suited. He's just not suited to us.
I don't think he's a really star player. I would say he's more of a squad player, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Horace, mate, we missed out on the CDM. Aliens in the house. How you doing, Alien, mate? Looking at it now, it does look like we covered all positions that we really needed. I think Ronaldo coming in. There's still maybe room for another striker if Cavani leaves. We don't know what's going to happen with Pogba next summer. Rumours are contract negotiations are now gone into overdrive. Now all of the business is done. We do still need that holding midfielder, though, Horace, mate. In terms of what's out there now, and there's some players that could probably have a really good season this season, the price goes up. Who is that one for you, mate? I mean, who would you be going for looking ahead now? Or is there one of, I mean, are you for the younger generation coming through? Are you for any of the youth players getting a chance in this team?
To be honest, I think we should go all in for Declan Rice because I think he can do a massive job for us. And to be honest, with James Garner, you don't really know with him because he's still young, and I wouldn't risk him in our team yet.
No, this could be a case with James Garner when, like, what do you call him? The Birkenhead Busquets.
The Birkenhead Busquets, mate, is getting in my team ahead of the snaky bloke who decides his nationality on the flip of a coin. 100% every day of the week, the Birkenhead Busquets gets in front of him. When you put on a national team jersey, you kind of just stick with one. Declan, that's just the way you go. Especially when your name's Declan, like my name, very Irish name, but yeah, we'll move on from that. The bitterness is still there. But I honestly think Jimmy Garner should be given a chance. I think the way he's been talked about since he's been coming through, and I know that happens quite a lot. You know, we've seen the likes of Sylvan Ebanks-Blake thought about as being the next Van Nistelrooy. And,
Giuseppe Rossi, the new, mate.
Giuseppe Rossi, James Wilson, Will Keane, like the list goes on. But I honestly think Garner does have a future in that, United midfield. I think the year at Forest is going to do him absolute wonders. He's going to be in a tough league there in the Championship. He did amazing there in the second half of the season. So if he has a similar sort of full season to what he had in the back end of last year, I have no doubt he can, come back into United. Not go straight into the first team. I'm not saying that for any second, but slowly be bled into the team, be given those opportunities, and then sort of towards the end of his first season within being a regular in the team, he can nail down a position within the first 11. I think it's a sort of a 2-year process. It may not happen, but I'm very hopeful in the Birkenhead Busquets getting in that first 11.
Obviously, we did get good players in this window, world-class players. Let's not kid ourselves. Oris, mate, I'm just going to come to you on a question there, actually, or a point made by Michael Martin, one of the members, top man. If you do want to join and be part of Adam Matic TV, the link is in the description there, guys. Just check it out. He's coming in with Viva Ronaldo will not like Ollie's style of play and he will fall out with him. That's my big worry. Is there a concern, Oris, that Ronaldo's coming in and he's going to look at possibly that midfield, mate, and go, what the F in hell is going on here? What am I working with? Is there any sort of concerns of that ilk with you with Ronaldo coming in?
Yeah, I think there's a big concern with Ronaldo because I think Ronaldo, he would want to be playing attacking football with United. And if he sees Ole picking Fred and we're not playing that great, I think he's going to have a big concern with Ole. And I think we might see Ronaldo falling out with Ole. I wouldn't be surprised with that. Yeah,
he is another mate, though, there. I mean, just touching on the super chat there from Alien. Rickett is okay. Luckily, his holiday that he was on, well, that James news broke, has softened the blow for him. So I can assure everyone I've spoken to him. He's fine. And he will be back soon enough. Dissecting how Bielsa is probably going to turn Dan James into an absolute will beater. On that, I actually think he probably will make a player out of him. But I don't think he's the right man for United right now. I think he is for Leeds. And that, for me, it made complete sense. And an absolute bonus that we managed to get 30 bags for him, which itself is just crazy considering how United's usually operate in terms of selling players. But
he's our fourth highest ever player sale.
That is mental when you break it down like that.
I mean, Ronnie, Lukaku, Di Maria, then Dan James.
Fuck, jeez. That shows how bad we are. Actually, on that, Oris, mate, I'm going to ask you that question, mate. In terms of this squad being so huge, is there any other players that you expected to leave this window?
Yeah, I thought Jesse Lingard was going to leave to West Ham. And I was surprised that he stayed. And yeah, that's really it. I thought, Lingard, that's it.
Lingard, that does look like it's a bit of a personal decision with Lingard now. By all means, he's sort of not football related, not money related. It does look like it has been a personal sort of decision on that lines. We don't know about if it's that important, then it has to happen. I don't know. We're not to say. I just fear that he's not going to get game time and he's not going to get his chance in Qatar at the next World Cup because I don't see how he gets in this team. I really don't. But stranger things have happened. Ollie is the manager and Ollie's got big balls. I will give him that because when Dan James was in that lineup, against Wolves, everyone was like, what the Ollie is not scared to make certain decisions, which for me, kind of strange how he doesn't get some of the other decisions, the easier ones, right. Well, what we see is easy ones, but what do we know? We're just fans who are ranting on talk shows and singing Ronaldo songs in the stands, carrying cardboard cutouts to away games. That was brilliant, by the way, whoever did that. That was epic.
That was class.
The journey. I mean, Oris, mate, I say him again, cheers for coming on, pal. Before you go, with everything that we have brought in, give the transfer window a rating out of 10. And what do you expect? What's your expectation, mate, for the season? Trophies? challenging? What we're going at?
Out of 10, I would say an 8, and I expect Ole to compete for the title and to win either a FA Cup or Carabao Cup. And in the Champions League, I expect him to go like really far, like maybe semis or quarters. And yeah, that's really it.
Well, cheers for coming on, mate. Absolutely brilliant points again, pal. Absolute pleasure. Have a good evening watching Ireland get smashed by Ronnie and Bruno, just like Owen is. We just winded him up now, that's all. But cheers for coming on, mate. Really appreciate your time, pal.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later, mate. Ads. My mates just sent me this. Queen Elizabeth has requested personally requested to reserve the first Manchester United jersey signed by Cristiano Ronaldo.
What?
Genuinely, just been sent it. Sport Innovation Society has just put it up. Don't know if it's 100% true. If it is true, that is hilarious. But
I mean,
apparently
he is an absolute icon. I mean, the guy's got more Instagram followers than every single Premier League team put together.
Is that actually true?
Yeah, it's true. He's got more Instagram followers than every Premier League team put together. 365 million, I think.
What, including United as well?
Yeah, mate. He's got, he's got, you would not believe, he is the most followed person on social media in the world. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely insane. But
and I'm also guessing you're in the same boat as me, that you've got your phone ringing, everyone asking you for tickets for this fucking
mate, oh man, guys, if you have asked me for tickets for this game, let me just break it down for you on what happened. Manchester United have a membership program where you can buy a membership and then be able to apply for tickets. Cristiano Ronaldo signed for Manchester United, and United made, what was it now? I think 100,000 new members on the day it was announced.
Fuck.
That's how many members, and that's how many tickets are being applied for, as well as 50-odd thousand season ticket holders. So Ronaldo has taken us to the next level, and this is why it was an absolute no-brainer. Saeed's in the house there as well. He's been asked.
Oh, yes, Saeed.
It is. Mate. Big up Saeed. Big up Saeed.
I've got people asking me like weeks in advance now. They just want to see Ronnie. No, it's just mental.
Yellow bathing suit there. I'd rather see a midfielder than Ronaldo come in. Oh.
Nah, mate. I know that's better for the rest of the team, but I'm selfish. I want to see Ronnie play in the United show again.
Yeah, craziness. We do have one more guest to come on. I've saved him till last. He is actually a regular contributor and subscriber to the channel. I'm sure you'll recognise the name, Owen. He's not been in the chat today because he's on the show. That's Big Ron. Big Ron. I hope you're there, mate. I hope you're there, Big Ron. And I've not just introduced you to a damp squib there, mate. Are you there, Big Ron, mate?
Good evening, Adam. Good evening, Owen. How are you both?
Not too
I'm
bad.
all right, mate. Good to hear your voice, pal, instead of seeing it up in text, mate. How's it going, mate? Excited much?
Very, very excited after the close of the transfer window. I'm calling you from the Midlands, not quite as exotic as Thailand, but you know.
Oh, well, you're in between me and Owen, mate, so it sort of suits the video and where we're at right now in terms of that. But, yeah, I mean, Big Ron, mate, I've got to ask, pal. You've had plenty to say most of the time on the team right now. Ole, through all the live streams last season, watch-alongs and whatnot, mate, it's D-Day now, mate. Everything's done and dusted. Window's shut. The team is in. The squad's there. More than enough to challenge for a title for you, or is it still short?
On paper, we are definitely there and should be challenging. On the pitch, however, I think there is still a bit of a gulf. It's been a solid transfer window, one of the best for a long time. And the caliber of the players that we bought, Sancho, you know, Madrid's finest in Varane, and Ronaldo, the way that thing just unfolded, you know, those 24 hours. I know you've said in the past, Adam, that you're not necessarily a massive fan of bringing Ronaldo back, but the way it kind of unfolded, it it's like Christmas came early, man. Yeah, I thought I'm like a teenager again in a weird way. I didn't think I'd be like that over a transfer, but it has kind of massive momentum, and it's kind of, you know, galvanized a lot of the support. Would have maybe liked to see 1 or 2 outgoings, but I don't think we did too much on that. I'm not too fussed by that. Could have done with a midfielder as well. You know, we've kind of already discussed that, but it wasn't meant to be. We're going to have to go with what we've got. But I want to ask you guys, you know, if Ronaldo was playing in that Wolves game, you know, would we have played any better? Is he what we needed? I'm not too sure, because we didn't look that good against Wolves.
I mean, for me, what Ronaldo brings in, and firstly on that point about, I did make it quite clear when United were muted to be signing Ronaldo year on year over the last 8-10 years. It's been going back a while. I just didn't want to spend all our money on a player when we needed something elsewhere. You said it then, Rob, mate. The way this deal broke down, I was talking on United Stand regarding City the night before it all went down. I broke it down. I went, the next morning, I went, he's going United. Before it even broke, I said, there's no way the Glazers, Solskjaer, everyone who's related with the club, there's no way that anyone is going to let this happen. There's no way, because the fact that United have got CR7 merchandise in the megastore still, that whole branding would have to have gone. They were going to lose money if Ronaldo went to City. So I was like, they have to be looking at this. And only United could get a deal where you pay 2.5 million a year for Cristiano Ronaldo. There's only United who could break that deal in. I was amazed at how we did it. But
I think you were so desperate to get rid of the fee. The way
God, mate. It was. I tell you what, the transfers have fallen into United's lap this summer. They really have. I think we've just hit every single transfer at exactly the right time we needed to. Sanchez, 30 million less last year of Varane's deal at Real Madrid. Brilliant signings coming at that price. Then Ronaldo, as cheap as we got him with his output and what he brings. But I'll come to you, Owen, on the question Ron just asked. I mean, against Wolves, what would Ronaldo have brought to the table?
Who knows? Personally,
influence.
He could have brought an influence into the team. I mean, you look around in that team. I mean, Fred's Brazilian, so he speaks Portuguese. So Ronaldo could have called him all sorts under the sun in Portuguese, and it might have bucked up his ideas a bit. And if you're playing alongside what in my opinion is the greatest player to ever lace a pair of boots, you're going to step your game up. And I feel like you bring a player like him into the dressing room, you just have to look at him, and every single player is going to step up their game. You know, I think it's just natural. So I feel like a lot of players would have stepped up their game quite a bit and could have influenced the team in that way. And then, it's Ronaldo. All he needs is one chance, and it's game on. So I reckon he could have just. I think it's just that dressing room influence as well as on the pitch. Obviously, we don't even need to talk about what he does on the pitch because it's so well documented. But I feel like that dressing room influence he's going to have is going to be priceless. It's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, Big Ron, mate. Question for you, actually, mate. I mean, moving away from Ronaldo, he wasn't the only signing this summer, like we just said, but I was immensely impressed with Rafael Varane in that game. I mean, do you feel like he being in that defence now and stabilising our defence is what we need in them sort of tight games against Wolves? Because I said it afterwards, mate. I didn't think United would have got anything from that game if Varane wasn't in that defence.
Varane does look a good addition. I have to say, it's early days, but him and Maguire, they look pretty solid centre-back. I will say this, some of Wolves' attacks, they did kind of come from the flanks and then go into the middle, and sometimes they might peter out by then, because I do think like the fullbacks kind of got, they did have to deal with Adama a bit more than our centre-backs did. But Varane did look good. I think one of the issues we have is the 4-2-3-1 that we're playing. The two in front of the four, they're too close to it. And then the front 3 and 1, the front four, they're too far up the pitch. And there's a big gulf where, better movement could kind of create space and get things going. But we seem to be quite static with that. And I think Pogba playing in the 2, you kind of saw the predicament that McFred are in. They're getting the ball from the back 4. They're looking up. and the opposition's got a bank of 4-5 midfield in front of them. Then they've got a bank of 4 at the back in front of them, and they're kind of looking and thinking, there ain't much here. I've got to pass it sideways or backwards. Whereas when Pogba kind of plays in the 3, on the wing, he's already behind that bank of midfielders, if that makes sense. And it's a question of whether you can get him the ball, and then he's just got the defense to kind of try and pull a few strings and maybe play a through ball through, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate?
He's got a whole team in front of him. Sorry. No, please carry on.
It's all right, mate. I mean, you touched on a good point now. I think variation in play kicks into gear here as well, because the simple fact that we keep trying to play out from the back with the likes of Freddie, who is a very poor passer of the ball, we do need to sometimes simple basic football. And I said the only thing that changed in the second half was we did a few more things, basics. Well, that was it. We didn't do anything spectacular in the second half. We stopped making silly mistakes, and that gave us the freedom to actually try something a little bit different. I've got an issue at the moment with the very slow starts that we're making, how we're not up for these games. We struggle to get into the game, and sometimes it can be too late, because Wolves should have been 3-0 up at half time, mate, and then we're dead and buried. But luckily we clung on, but we shouldn't be, and there shouldn't be an excuse, mate, for us to be starting these games so sluggishly, in my opinion, and he's killing us.
That is a great point. I wanted to touch on that, where when we say, what has Ollie learned? Has he learned anything? What's going to be different from this season to last season? And already there's deficiencies that I'm noticing in the Southampton game and the Wolverhampton game. The Southampton game, the first thing you'd have said is, lads, don't give any free kicks away. Ward-Prowse is dangerous. 10 seconds into that match, Aaron Wan-Bissaka's fouling Kay Adams. Ward-Prowse has got a free kick. De Gea saves it. They've got a corner. They're on the front foot. Home fans are cheering. And, for some reason, we weren't imposing ourselves on the game. We're giving them the kind of momentum. And against Wolves, okay, we started the game. First time Fred gives the ball away, Adama gets it. And, the opposition, they're bearing down on our back four. They're bearing down on our goal. And it's kind of like, what's happening here? All of a sudden, we're not putting a foothold into these games, and we're letting the opposition kind of, have the better of it. And then we're kind of battling back. And that's something that needs to be addressed. We had a week to prepare for that Wolves game. What homework did we did? We seemed underprepared. We seemed bereft of ideas. The team, they look like strangers out there. Like they've not played before. And it's kind of like, this shouldn't really be happening. What are our coaches doing? What are they preparing our players for? Because we look clueless. All right, second off, we looked a bit better. But, Pogba clipping the ball over the top, that's Mike Bassett tactics. That's nothing, Tuchel, Klopp, them guys, Pep. Tactically, they're on another league compared to where we're kind of stemming from. And I'm not saying that's all Ollie's fault, because he's got coaches in place. I'm sure Ollie's kind of doing it like Fergie was doing it in his later years, where, the coaches and the players kind of sorted it out amongst themselves in a way, where it was kind of like a bit laissez-faire. And I think that's what Ollie
just put, and then Fergie just put the frighteners up him, didn't they? That's what it was.
That was it. And it's a different, that was like a winning team, and they kind of had themselves to kind of rely on. We've not quite got that now. So maybe Ollie does need to be a bit more hands-on. But
do you feel that Ronaldo would be hands-on in terms of the way he is and his standards? It's like Giorgio says here, Ronaldo would have prevented Fred from giving the ball away. Ronaldo would have subbed Fred off at half-time. Hajjat says there, Ronaldo would have ordered Ollie to take Fred off. Enough for an improvement. I mean, he's going to come in, and he's not going to be, and I've said this many times, mate, he's not here to make numbers up. He's not here to sell a few shirts again and have a bit of a swan song. He's coming to win things, mate. And that's what I think is positive with this signing more than anything else. The fact that we got him at a snip, and do you know what? He gets United. He knows what we're about. He can slot straight in. He will adapt straight away, no problem. For me, I think that's the positive on it. Do you see that as the major reason why United now are probably, and United fans are looking forward to that Newcastle game and going forward with Ronaldo?
This could be what we've needed, in the sense that Ronaldo will demand excellence from his teammates, from the coaches, from everybody. Everybody's going to have to up their game. He's going to raise the bar. They're going to want to impress him. And on the pitch, he ain't going to be scared to shout the orders. Ollie might give a player a pat on the back, but I can tell you now, Ronaldo ain't going to be scared of giving him a kick up the ass. And that's what we needed. You know, somebody maybe barking orders at players and just sort of say, you know, I can see us being a bit like the Portugal national team, whereas the manager's kind of there in name only and the players are kind of taking the responsibility amongst themselves and sort of saying, look, this needs to be done, that needs to be done. You know, will Ronaldo encourage his teammates to get the ball down the flank and cross it in? You know, let's hope so, because we played Martial against Southampton. He ain't getting no service. We put Greenwood in the middle, very little service. Against Wolves, Greenwood again. I see, he was trying to interchange with Bruno and it didn't quite work. Like it wasn't quite as fluid as it was in the Leeds game. But you know, he wasn't getting much service. Cavani didn't get much service. And we're lucky we've got somebody like Greenwood who he doesn't even need half a chance. You know, the chances that he scores goals from, they're not even chances. They're half chance, slim chances. And he's just beating a man and getting a shot in hard and low and it's hitting the back of the net. And we're a bit fortunate in that way, but we're going to have to start feeding our strikers. And that's what I'm talking about, where we're going to have to play a bit more of an expansive game. And hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later. And, you know, hopefully Ronaldo can be the catalyst of that to kind of get that going again, because we're not really doing it at the moment. You know, the 4-2-3-1, it's good. We've got to be fluid. And we're relying a bit on kind of maverick kind of football. Whereas, you know, I'll use 4-4-2 as an example. You know, it does what it says on the tin. Winger, get down the flank, cross the ball in. Whereas the formation that we've got now, we're kind of looking for a bit more kind of creative, flamboyant from one or two players.
Through the middle, eye of a needle.
That's fine. But if I'm the striker, do I make the run now? Do I go far post, near post? You know, what is that? What am I anticipating from that player, if that makes sense? A bit like Ruud van Nistelrooy when Ronaldo first joined. You know, he weren't sure, is Ronaldo going to cross it after the first step over or the fifth step over? I don't know. I need to know because, you know, we'll be more effective attacking, if that makes sense. And it's going to take a bit of time for that understanding to develop. You know, Sancho, I'm not sure if he's fully fit. You know, they're saying for England now he's got a knock, but that was another thing with Ollie. You know, Sancho looked a bit lost out there, I thought, against Wolves.
Yeah,
you know,
I think playing on the left didn't help either. No,
it didn't. And, you know, we've been crying for somebody to be playing on the right. And we were talking about, has Ollie learned anything? You know, I'm not sure. Against Southampton, he's bringing he's bringing McTominay off the bench. And McTominay's injured. And he's out for a month now. And it's kind of like, yeah, we've got a great squad. We've got such depth. Okay, but why is Ollie picking an injured player?
That's it.
Why isn't Donny coming on the pitch? And, you know, against Wolves, Fred's getting 90 minutes. You know, you could see it after a couple of minutes. After 5 minutes, you know, you could see that.
Mate, I was screaming it. I was screaming it after 2 minutes, mate. And it wasn't pleasant.
Yeah, I was screaming. The family's thinking I'm losing my marbles. But, like, Fred will elicit a shriek that, you know, no man should elicit from another man, if that makes sense. But you kind of like... Yeah,
totally get. Yeah, you made some really good old school points there, mate. I love all of them. We've got to wrap up the video now, guys. So, Big Ron, before we go, mate, give me a rating out of 10 on this transfer window, and what are we doing and winning this season, pal? Where are we going? What the expectations, mate, for you? Okay, I'll give it an 8.5. Just the caliber of players that we bought, quality. I'm really impressed with that. A little room for improvement, but I'll take that. I'm quite happy with that. The issue with the league is you win it with consistency. You've got to be day in, day out. You got to be doing it, and that might be a bit difficult because there's going to be a transition period for these players and you know, the identity of the team. I think Owen could be right. We might be more successful in a cup competition because you don't necessarily have to be as consistent. You can be a bit jammy and you can be a bit lucky. And Ollie was a lucky player. And some would argue, some people that want Ollie out, they might argue that Ollie's a lucky manager. He's still in the job, if that makes sense. So I think we might be more suited to some of the cup competitions. You know, we've got a lot of firepower, a lot of match winners, if that makes sense. True, I understand that. In a league campaign, but in a cup competition, you know, we've got people that are capable. Anything's possible, mate. Exactly. Definitely. So I think watch out for us in the cup competitions. And yeah, thanks for having me on. Thanks for no worries, mate. My nonsense. So smash a like, everybody. Support this channel. Adam Matic is doing some good stuff here and on the United stand.
we love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I know you got a lot on your plate. You're juggling a lot of balls in the air,
That's
but
it.
keep doing it, buddy. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. We're in.
That's it. I'll have to get bigger on more often to talk me up some more. Well, cheers, mate. Really appreciate you coming on. Good to actually speak to you finally, mate.
Thank you. Likewise.
Cheers, mate. Love it. Guys, that pretty much sums up the video. I just want to say a massive thank you. Reese has hanged on there watching the whole way through. I've seen him in the back room there. Reese, cheers for coming on. Kevin. A few of the others have left now from the room, and I'm useless at remembering names, guys. So again, appreciate everything. Owen for coming on, the super chats, the chats, and everyone for joining us. Don't forget, bottom right hand corner there is the subscribe button. I think we're about 100 away from 20,000 subs, which is mental for such a little channel. Big opinions. That's what this channel's about, guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. Give the video a share on your socials as well. And drop your comments in when the video goes up on YouTube later. I want to know what you think. Give me the ratings on this transfer window. What is it out of 10? And how many trophies are we going to win? That's what I'm going to ask. I'm not going to ask what you expect. I want to know how many trophies we're going to win, because we're finishing positive, and that's how we're going forward. But for now, guys, thank you for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure. As always, see you later.